everyone, so I thought I would bring you a quick guide on how we're gonna get a ton of free augments in season 26. So as you see on the screen here is a seasonal theme called Equine Nightmare, and basically this is an arena you go into, and here you'll get a wave of monsters and you'll get tiers. If you look at my inventory now, I have Whispering, Atonement, and they are level 100. You can also see we have a Petrified Scream. Now the Petrified Scream is what is used to open a rift to get into the Equine Nightmare, and then after completing it, you'll get a Whispering Atonement equivalent to the level you completed. So on a fresh new character, you might be able to complete, let's say, a tier 40 or so. That'll then grant you a Whisper of Atonement level 40. But once you start putting together a real build, you have a 6-piece, you have some stuff that supports it, it is pretty easy to get up to about 100. As you can see here on the screen now, this is my just completely random build I put together in maybe 2 minutes on the PTR, and we're still able to crush it and get well beyond level 100. And basically, once you reach current tier of 100 or higher, it will then give you a Whisper of Atonement after completing, of course, that is level 100, and then you can then use that for augmenting. Now it looks like it caps out at level 100, so for season 25 we had augments to 125 free augments. This season it looks like we are capped at 100s. Now after that you can actually also level it further, of course, in Great Rifts. So you level it like you do any normal rifts, right? Do Great Rifts, and then you can of course level it after the Great Rift. So if we look at the Whisper of Atonement here, you can see that the rank is 100 out of 150. Now you can only get it to rank 100s from the Equine Nightmare itself, and you would then have to level it yourself in Great Rifts like you would do a normal gem. So it's basically a good way to get some early augments, and then of course also a massive time saver. And of course it works like everything else in terms of augmenting. So if you have your Whispering of Atonement, and then you of course have your 3 flawless gems, put in the cube along with your ancient item, and then of course transmute it, and it will then make it into an augment item just like everything else. Now let me just show you the power of augmenting your entire setup here. So as you can see, this is a pretty low paragon guy. We only have 700 paragon or so, and we only have 7,000 dexterity at the moment. And of course our 2 main reasons for doing this, of course we want more main stat because damage is increased by percent of main stat. So as you can see, it is equal to a percent of the dexterity. So it's 7,082 right now, and it's the same thing over here. So of course if this was something like 20k, it will be a much bigger amplifier. And also of course in the armor over here in the defensive stat, getting more armor is going to be really nice for having more damage reduction. So let's have a look at it, shall we? We are at 7,000 dexterity now, and let's just go ahead and augment all of it. This with the new, of course, Whispers of Atonement that you get in the Equine Nightmare, and these are really nice actually. This is a really good way to make them. Now they can only be 100 by just default when you get them, but you can of course still level these further in a normal Great Rift. There's a way to get them level 100 to start with, and then you can augment them further, level them further in you're doing Great Rifts. So they are a little bit weaker compared to the Soul Shard, at least in terms of what you initially get. But you do have the chance to then make them stronger when you're pushing in a Great Rift. You couldn't do that with Soul Shards. They were stuck at 125. So if you wanted to make augments higher than 125, you would then have to make normal augments, which is kind of annoying. This way, you can make them to 100 easy, and then you can of course use that, or you can go in and of course then level them even further in a normal Great Rift. So I'm personally a big fan of this system, and I hope they keep this in. And I feel like this is a better system actually compared to what we have in season 25. It's going to be a bit lower in terms of your main stat gain from it, at least early season, but it will become even better than we had before once you can start doing higher Great Rifts. And as you can see, we actually got up to 11.5k here. So as you got more than 4,000 main stat from this, as you can see, the damage increase also went up by the same amount. And we also got a lot more armor here. This is what we're after. This is gonna make my character now a lot stronger than it was before, especially early game when you are below, I'd say 20,000 or so paragon. Every augment is a massive deal. And of course, because of diminishing returns after 20k, it becomes less and less. But try as a benchmark at getting 20k main stat every season, and these augments help a lot with that. So as I said before, it looks like it's fairly easy at least to get it to level 100, which is also the soft cap. It shouldn't take much at all. Any 6-piece with just a few items to support it will definitely get you there. So don't worry, it will not be super hard at all to get augments to level 100. The most difficult part about this is getting the Petrified Screams for opening the Equine Nightmare, as they're going to have a fairly low drop chance on the Great Rift. So that's going to be the main thing that might stop you in terms of just getting full augments right away. But these Equine Nightmares are insanely good also for getting XP, gear, and everything like that. I'm personally a big fan of this, and I think this should be implemented permanently into the game, of course, as augments just are way too time consuming. So a system like this works really well. Now if you enjoyed this video, also make sure to check out the video here, as we'll be covering everything there is in the PTR for season 26. And I'll see you in that video. Peace out, everyone.